Hi everyone, I'm Javisht and welcome to This Week in Tech. The idea behind this series is to try and break down all the developments in tech throughout the week. I know it's very hard to keep up with all the latest developments, and I myself have a hard time keeping up. But this is a good incentive for me to try and keep up with everything and make content on it. First things first, let's come to GPT-5. GPT-5 was launched last week. There are some insane use cases online, and I'd like to show you the power of it too. So let's get right to it. So here we have our GPT-5, which is now supposed to be the smartest and fastest model out there. I think it's available to every single person out there right now. So it's definitely a good opportunity to go and check this out. I'd like to show you something I made today that's actually insane. So my prompt to GPT-5 was, I need you to create a web-based CapCut clone for me and show me everything in an HTML file. And of course, it went ahead and started writing the code for me. And I had the canvas mode on, so I can make changes on that. So just for the people who are curious, you can turn on canvas mode, clicking this button right here. And here we go. This is our video editor. We see we have a timeline here. We can do playback. So I can of course import media on this. So let me try and import something I have right here. Let's see what I have. Okay, I have this clip that I can now, media shows up. I can add this to the timeline, and so it's playing on the timeline. It's a clip from Tom and Jerry. Okay, let's see what else can we do with this. I can add text. Your text shows up. Let's write Jerry. Okay, show up. Nothing showed up. Also, I think I can go to timeline. Maybe route it somewhere else. And I can click on S and it splits it up also. So now if I add text here, perfect. So that's text to this. After splitting it, writes text right here. And of course I can manipulate and shorten the timeline. You can also import media. So this is like a good one-shot tool for this, right? So just one prompt and I got this entire CapCut clone as the output, which is great. I'd like to show you guys another thing. Oh, there are help in shortcuts also. Insane. Anyway, let's go back to our chat, and I want to show you guys something I use GPT for a lot, and that is the deep research mode. So let's click on deep research, and what I want to search for is please can you do a detailed research on market salaries in the US for a generative AI engineer working in movies, especially in the VFX and animation teams. Give me a hourly and project basis salary structure as well. And of course this is actually my role, and I have a lot of difficulty finding out I have a lot of difficulty trying to figure out what the charges should be to a client, because this is an extremely evolving field and some of these roles never existed before, right? So I think it's a good idea to come back to GPT and get some feedback on it, and I use this all the time. And one more thing is, keep in mind that the costs should be reasonable than the market pay for the traditional jobs doing these tasks. That's very important, because in case I and this was a big challenge I had. I had this idea of getting robotic automation and infusing it into all the factories, um, in all the industrial factories, and actually give, like, replace human labor so that the humans can work on something different and not have to do labor intensive work. And the one feedback I got, at least in India, was that it's way cheaper to hire labor than to actually pay for the robots and the automation. So it needs to make sense according to the market to implement AI based workflows as opposed to the traditional ones. To tailor the research accurately, could you please clarify the following? All three. Let's cover the big studios as well as the smaller ones. Let's consider LA and NYC. Let's see what comes up with. So it's doing the research. And while this is doing the research, and we'll come back to this, this is actually one very important tool that I think the world has been sleeping on, and that is Claude 4.1. I know that everyone in the world now knows ChatGPT, and pretty much everyone uses it, but not many people use Claude. And I think Claude is just better at everything to do with writing. It has MCPUs. It writes code really well, and its canvas feature is actually fantastic. The canvas feature of Claude is called artifacts, so you know about Claude artifacts, which is supposed to be really good. Again, like, this is in the Claude model. My prompt was, can you create an interactive explainer with SVG graphics explaining the principles of robotics and the math and physics in this interactive visualizer with which the user can interact and learn? And it created this entire flow for me. This is about forward kinematics. We have math equations here. Explainer, of course, this is interactive. This moves. This is great. There is another one for target reaching. So we have these equations that it's following. Solution, not bad. This is good. We also have a PID control system, which is the proportional integral derivative control. So it adjusts the control of your robots. Set point. So again, it's following this equation. I think this is great for education. Oh, there's a simulation as well. And then there is trajectory planning. Wow, that's a very involved graph that actually animates. This is great. I think this is like a great educational tool. So anytime you want to whip up a quick visualization of something, whether it's like animations of market graphs, stocks, you can just use a Claude artifact even for like your presentations, and spin something up. I'd like to show you one of the tools I made of late. So last week in the Confi.org, there was a Confi.org event in LA in which I displayed this interactive ConfiUI node builder tool I made, and it actually is a Claude artifact. So I created this entire artifact on Claude for people to play around with and visualize ConfiUI nodes. Here we have our artifact, and you can actually make changes to this, and this is published in live on the internet. So I can like change the words hi world, and let's say I can go, there's like these default image, there are these default templates that we can access. I don't know if you said or not. Okay, now let's come to the use cases that Claude's actually highlighted on X. X is a great place to find out what's actually happening in this field and all the great use cases that people are posting. And let's look at this. Opus 4.1 has a much better sense of design than other models. Here is a single HTML page it made of some made-up design firm. Not bad. This looks great actually. So it can do higher quality design mocks. What else? More polished prototypes. Here's Opus 4 compared to 4.1. 4.1 is the newest model. It's created this Rubik's Cube player and simulator. More complex voxel image generation. Wow, this looks really complex. and smoother high quality animations, Opus 4 compared to 4.1. Let's play this. And we have Opus 4.1's one-shot attempt to create a 3D capybara petting zoo. So you can create 3D games. Build a 3GS Worms game. So we have a 3GS Worms game here. And these were all the great use cases. Let's come back to one of the other use cases I discovered recently. This is from one of the prompts I saw on Twitter, and I wanted to try for ChatGPT-5, and I wanted to try this on Claude. Check all public private Indian stock market companies and tell me what I should invest in from first principles reasoning. You have $1,000. Please do deep research and present rationale for each investment. Each one should have a target price and expected value. Use advanced math for trading. Draw research from authoritative sources like research and unbiased pundits. Size my bets properly and use everything you know about portfolio theory. Corroborate each decision with a list of predictions about those companies. Your goal is to maximize expected value, make minimum 5 investments, and write it in a table. So I got this prompt from someone who had tried a similar prompt for the US markets on GPT-5, and I wanted to see how well Claude does it for the Indian markets. And it's done this comprehensive research where it's actually gone and done research on different companies' stocks websites. So there's it's gone to the Bajaj Finance and ITC small cap stocks links, like 10 results each. So it's done like a comprehensive research on these, and it's given me all these recommendations. And let's see what so we have this in a tabular format, and based on comprehensive research of Indian equity markets, this strategy recommends a diversified portfolio across 5 carefully selected stocks totaling $1,000. The strategy emphasizes value investing principles, diversification across sectors, and optimal position sizing using modified Kelly criterion concepts. Bottom line up front, expected portfolio return of 15 to 18% CAGR with controlled risk through sector diversification and position sizing based on risk adjusted expected values. So the top recommendations are HDFC Bank, which is 25%. So like invest $250 in HDFC Bank. It's also given us like a current price of 1974 and target price of 2327. I don't know like if these prices are correct, if the current prices are correct. Expected return of 18%. And it's given us a rational score of like strong fundamentals, growth potential. Other ones are Reliance Industries, TCS, ITC, Bajaj Finance, and it's given the rationale for each. And it tells us that the risk level is moderate to high. Of course, there's a detailed stock analysis for each with all the numbers mentioned right here. Again, this is not for any financial advice, but you guys should always eventually do your own research, but it's good to have this as a good thinking board before you make a decision and do some research. Of course, it's explained the math and the equations behind the Kelly formula as well, and the risk metrics for each. It's explained all the math, so it's really great for research. It's given us like 12-month targets, 3-year outlook. So yeah, this was fantastic. Okay, coming back to our GPT-5 deep research, which is now done after 7 minutes. These are all the rates, salaries and compensation for generative AI engineers in film, VFX, animation 2025. Generative AI is an emerging field in the film industry. Compensation. This is the salary compensation for full-time roles. Full-time generative AI specialists in film typically hold titles like AI artist, AI creative specialist, or technical director for generative AI. These roles involve integrating generative AI tools into VFX animation workflows, exactly what I do for a living. And major production studios tend to offer higher ranges, whereas smaller studios or post-production houses may offer lower salaries. And let's look at this. So if it's a junior entry-level position, full-time positions are like 65K to 80K in LA. In New York, it's 60K to 75K. And smaller studios would be 50 to 70K. As you go up the ranks, it can range anywhere between 120K to 140K. Again, senior AI R&D. But yeah, I guess that's it for today, guys. I hope I could provide some value to you guys with the use of these tools and showing you some use cases. Please do go and play with these tools, and thank you. Bye.